to do this peaceful, or you want to make a go?
Media will have you think that hustlers only have one agenda, one lifestyle, one outcome. I was invited to what I thought was a simple cookout. I was completely blown away by what I witnessed and what I experienced, the other side of the hustle.
Some people do it internally. I just do it in a cookout form. You know what I mean? So
and what year is this?
And this is my 13th year.
The OG Daniel has been funding the Heaven Up in Harlem Memorial Cookout for over a decade.
It's Harlem in Heaven or Heaven in Harlem. Either way, it's a good time. And we're up here in Westchester County in Hartsdale, right? Hartsdale? And so it's a good time.
See, that's, you know that's love, but you don't know where you at, what you doing, but you feel good.
Harlemites gathered together to celebrate the lives of their loved ones.
Let's work. Break a heel, sweat it.
Is there anyone that you think about when you come?
Yes, all of my relatives that passed on, including Carol, my nephew, which you can see here, my mom.
So everybody's like thinking about somebody in particular, or it's not just one person?
Not just one person,
Okay. How long you been coming?
I'm coming for 6 years. I used to come with my cousin. Carol passed away last year. Yeah. I used to come here all the time. I never knew about it until he told me about it.
That's your cousin and my son.
Oh, wow. So what is this for you then?
This is a reunion for me when they said they celebrated the Lord. That's okay. This is my first time coming out here.
Okay.
My son was alive. He always comes here every year with his father.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are rules to this game. One of those rules is to give back to the community.
Footwork. Let me see some footwork. Let me see some footwork. Oh, y'all thought it was over? Well, the party's not over. I need my dancers only. Stop. Point to a spot. Let me see some footwork. Let's sweat.
Real big, though. One guy went on this, but it's real big.
Unity. Just one time, homie. You know what I mean? Thank you, my brother. That's love. Yo, homie. We gonna do a moment of silence, man. And we gonna rock out. All right? Thank y'all. Moment of silence. They know they shouting the names out. Everybody got people they love. Everybody got people they lost. Shout their names out, baby. Who you here? Who you lost? I lost everything. Everybody. My mama, my dad, my brothers, Kylie. Come on, man. It's a long list. All the brothers that died. Trail. All the homies this year, man. Pipeline, everybody. Rich and his little brother, like this, the list goes on. Yeah, babe, I love y'all, babe, for real, man. You know, we send our best wishes and prayers up to heaven. And the rest of the night, let's celebrate. You know what I mean? Let's show them how Harlem come together. We stick together, have a good time, and party out. You heard? Come on, homie, let's go, babe.
For OG Daniel, this is how he stays true to the game.
Just want to thank everybody. That's all I want to do. For coming out, paying homage to all the lost, fallen soldiers, all our angels up in heaven.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'm missing you.
Party's not over. I need my dancers only. Stop. Point to
and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants.
Well, actually, real estate came first before the car business.
Okay.
And so I think, like, just having a job and working a regular 9 to 5 and just, waiting on that paycheck to pay for everything was kind of a job within itself. Mm-hmm. And so, I definitely didn't have any interest in real estate at all. I ran into a friend of mine who I've known for 20 plus years. He's a realtor. Okay. And he also is affiliated with a program that allows first-time home buyers to purchase a home. Okay. And he was in multifamily investing. Okay. And so, I told him that, I wanted to...
Wait, back up. Multi-level investing.
Multifamily investing.
Multifamily. So it's actually buying a not just a house, but actually a home, a dwelling.
Yes. It's multifamily investing, income property, investment home. You may hear people use those terms for that. Okay. And so I wasn't really interested. And I was like, no, I'm going to renovate my apartment in Harlem. I'm going to renovate this apartment. It's going to be fun. I'm using my money to do this. And I renovated my apartment. I still wasn't happy. Okay. I still wasn't happy. And he came back. He's like, listen, you could be making some extra income.
How many years later, or was it years later, he came back and said?
I want to say maybe it was a 2, 3, maybe 4 years later.
Okay, so
yeah,
4 years ago he comes to you.
Right.
You say, no, I'm going to renovate my apartment.
I don't want to buy a house. Not even a single family. It wasn't even about investing. I was like, what? This apartment living is what is that? Like, I want to live here forever. Like, what are you talking about? This is generational property right here. My grandmother lived here. My father, I'm going to live here too. So, yeah. Okay. And that wasn't the right mindset because I didn't own it. There was no equity to build. Mm-hmm. There was no money to build. There was nothing to come in from it. And I didn't understand that. I just thought that I'm on 2nd Avenue. This is where it's at. Like, why am I going to buy a home for? And so it took some convincing. Yeah. I still wasn't happy. Mm-hmm. But even after the convincing, I didn't think I can do it. I was like, I'm a single mother. Mm-hmm. I'm a single woman. I don't think that I have the right funds to sustain a multi-family home, let alone a single home.
Right.
And so I think over time, eventually, I definitely decided, you know what, let me give it a try. After. The cars came after. So, and when I met you, that's the part of the business that I was into. So I've always been somewhat of a serial entrepreneur, I would say. I've done nightlife events. Okay. I've done stripper parties, where bachelor parties, bachelorette parties. I've done lingerie parties, pole dancing lessons. I sold lingerie. Like, I've done a little bit of everything.
So are you one of those that believes in having the multiple streams of income?
Yeah, I think I don't think at that time I believed in multiple streams of income, or maybe it was multiple streams of income. I didn't understand exactly what multiple streams of income was. I just thought, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I can do this. I'm throwing parties. I'm planning events. I have my hands in this and I have my hands in that, but I really wasn't making any money. Okay. I was spending more money than I can ever make. Okay. And so it wasn't substantial. It really wasn't anything.
So what happened? How did your business begin to make sense? Or how did the business? Yeah.
How did money begin to make sense?
How did money begin to make sense?
Right. So I didn't realize that I was spending more on my shoes, my clothes, my hair than I ever spent on a bike. So by the time I made my money back and split it up with other non-promoters that had already paid for me to look absolutely fabulous, right? So, I mean, I don't look as glamorous today, but
check out her Instagram, though.
Back in the day, I did some things. So, I had spent all this money, cab back and forth to the party. I didn't make anything. And although the money was coming in at the door, and by the time you pay your DJ, your security, the person that's collecting the money at the door, if those people ain't stealing from you, you really weren't making anything substantial. I still didn't have anything that I owned.
Okay.
And so I think when my friend came to me again and, you know, he said, let me go through your receipts with you. Let me help you with these receipts. I pulled out a receipt. Oh, purchased $750 worth of bottles that night, $400 worth of bottles that night. This is the money that I'm spending. And then I realized I really wasn't bringing anything. I had nothing substantial.
Okay.
And then, so it took a lot of convincing. I think this is what I was explaining to you before. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe I can do it. And so I was like, all right, let me think about this. I had ran into another friend at a party. I met him at a party. And he was doing multifamily investing.
Okay.
And flipping homes. And so he had a couple of multiple properties. He started showing me paychecks that he was getting when he would close on a home.
Okay.
And I was like, oh.
But this is a guy. This is a man. So you can still have this thing in your mindset that as a woman, as a single woman, as a single mom, I'm not able to do this.
Right.
What made you, okay, you see a second friend, but he's still a man in a money business. What made you feel like, let me try, or let me put my hands in this?
He asked me one question. He said, how much money do you make a year?
Okay.
And I told him how much money. And I think at the time, I might have been making somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000. And I was like, I don't make that much money. I feel like I'm poor in New York City. Like, that's nothing. He was like, you make more than 50% of the people living in this city. He said, you can afford a home. I said, no, I can't. He said, you're doing something wrong with your money. I don't know what it is that you're doing wrong, but you're doing something wrong. And until you decide what you're going to put your money into, you're never going to be able to afford the home. So I had to make the decision that the shoes and the clothes and the hair and the nails, it really was something that I had to change.
So when you made that transition, we're going to come back to how it affected your life, or how it affected you becoming now a landlord, and what that was like, and the steps briefly on how you secured that. I want to just ask you a sidebar question, because when both my husband and I made the transition to start over, in a sense, or add to what else we were doing, it hit the family. And like my daughter, you know, or my son, but my daughter, like, you know, their whole, like, the last 2 years, it's been, you know, life is now not 9 pair of sneakers. Now it's 5.
Right.
And like, you still got 5 pairs of sneakers. And you're like starting at $75.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, what happened to $40?
Right.
It was like, no, that's not happening. It's one daughter, but I can only imagine if you had 4 $700 shoes and all it is, you having a girl and a only child. You know, we don't mean to sometimes spend, but we do. How did that shift happen? Like, how old was she when you made that financial shift? And then how did that affect, like, you not spending money that you're accustomed to on yourself is one thing, but then how dare you now change how you spend money on her?
Well, I really didn't spoil her with, like, all the different sneakers. So her family did all of that. And so blessings upon blessings upon blessings, because they loved to buy her all the name brand jeans and sneakers, coats,
so you didn't have that.
And Tim's, whatever it is. Like, they really kept her spoiled with that. So with me, it was just basically keeping her looking good. So making sure she got her hair done. But you know what? I had to step back from that too. I had to say, mommy's going to do your hair. It's going to be a hairstyle. Let me get these bobos and put them in your head, because you're not going to get a wash and set. I was spending about $200 a month for me and her to go to the salon.
And
this wasn't even an expensive. This is just get a wash and set, a blow. And so, it was, like,
don't let Isha know. So how did that affect you guys when you had to start being more mindful about your spending?
I knew what the goal was. It didn't affect me at all. I said, this is the goal. I did a budget, and when I saw what I was spending, I wrote down everything. What I spent on my favorite candy. How much my favorite magazine or newspaper cost. How much that bagel that I want to get from the corner store. When I looked at all of that, I said, you know what? I don't have to spend this money here or there. I can do my hair at home.
Okay, so it wasn't that hard, is what you're saying?
It wasn't that hard for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I didn't need.
Okay.
There were times I would need a pair of shoes for a party, and I would buy 4 pairs just to wear one.
Okay.
And I would never take the other 3 back.
Okay.
Oh, I just got 3 more pairs of shoes, and I didn't need that.
Okay.
I didn't need that, and so I was overspending on myself to make myself look good for an appearance because I couldn't wear the same dress to a party twice. Oh no! Now I don't care. You see? Oh, you saw me in that dress last year? Yeah, it's this is my favorite dress because I'm wearing it again this year. Oh yeah? Oh, okay. Who you judging?
Okay.
Because I got a house.
Okay.
So I just had to make that choice for myself. So it wasn't hard at all. No.
So now when you have that mindset of, okay, I have a house, I'm a property owner, or I'm a homeowner, how mentally were you able to switch that? Like, okay, because you was doing business. You was making money. Well, you were thinking you were making money, but you were doing business.
I was doing business.
So you already had a mindset of checks and balances.
Right.
Was it hard to make that transition now as a landlord, checks and balances, because now it's just not your checks and balances but being responsible for others?
It was a very hard transition from throwing a party to managing a home. So now I have this house and I'm responsible for the tenants and making sure that they have a safe, warm place to live, and they depend on me.
It's so funny how you say they depend on, because we forget and we just think about them paying for to live, but we actually have taken responsibility on some folks.
When my tenants, sometimes, they might get upset, something breaks, something, and if it doesn't get handled in time, I might get a couple of phone calls that aren't as nice or as pleasing. But I always try to be very, calm with them, and I try to let them know, look, my goal is to make sure that where you live is comfortable.
Right.
And so I'm always going to be doing my best to make sure that I get whatever needs to be done. Right? So I don't want you to think that I'm just sleeping on the job, like I'm not getting your sink fixed or whatever. Like, I'm out here calling people at my job, trying to call at my desk. You know any plumbers?
While you at your 9 to 5.
Right. While I'm at my 9 to 5, I'm working on getting those things done to them. And that was a big learning process. One, I'm managing on my own. I don't have my boss looking over my shoulder, making sure I get it done. I have to make sure I get it done on my own. I have to make sure that everything the city wants me to post in that building, it gets posted or I get fined. So I have to keep up with my own stuff, and without anybody looking over your shoulder managing you, it's easy to drop the ball on something. And so I think that was hard, because planning a party, boom, you plan a party, boom, it's done. We have the party, there's nothing else to do. This house is forever ongoing. It's going to need heat. It's going to need water. It's going to need gas so that they can cook. It's going to need those essential things so that these people can live. And I would never want them to be uncomfortable or considered a slumlord. I'm not. If you heard that, it ain't true. So trust.
So it's not easy. So it wasn't easy learning how to manage yourself. Right. And thank you for sharing that, because I think that we forget, those type of responsibilities. We just really kind of think of the building itself, the property itself, and our tenants, but not necessarily our responsibility towards the tenants and how we have to manage that mentally, because the responsibility, like you said, making sure everything is posted, making sure what the city needs, and who's telling you to do those things, who's doing your checks and balances. Right. So for you to do that, cool beans. So you're on the job checking for a plumber. Right? You're on the job checking for a plumber. What steps? Okay, so what were the outside of thinking you could not do it? Right. He showed you your money that you were spending. You saw the amount of money you were spending on other things that still wasn't making you fulfilled. So you said you got a couple of extra $1,000. Was it as simple as a couple of extra $1,000 to start? I know he had a program that he introduced you to the first time.
Yeah, so one of my mentors introduced me to a program called NACA. And NACA helps first-time home buyers purchase a home without no down payment, no closing costs. Okay. You can purchase anything from a single-family, co-op, condo, 1, 2, 3, or 4-family homes. Anything under 4-family is still considered residential. Above
How
that,
long did that process take?
It varies on the individual.
Okay.
Me, for myself, my process took 11 months.
Okay.
I entered into the program, didn't want to do it. I didn't feel I can do it. I didn't think it was something I wanted to be responsible for. And so I waited maybe 2 years before I actually officially started doing what I needed to do to get the steps towards making a home. But what they do is they help people to understand how to budget, understand where their money is going, so that they know that they're able to afford a home. And they have like something like a 99% success rate. No one forecloses on your home once you get into this program. And so they also are definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they don't like predators that like try to get you into a mortgage knowing that you can't afford it. So they're teaching you really how to afford to pay for this.
Did you have to pay for that program?
The program, yes.
Okay.
Actually, it's nothing that you really pay for. So instead of paying like a mortgage insurance like you would with a traditional bank, you pay $25 a year.
Okay.
$25
so
a year.
$25 a year for the education that you need to become a homeowner and learn how to do it properly.
Yes, and then they're the middleman that gets you your loan. Yeah, $25 a year. It's nothing.
Yes. How difficult was it actually finding the property?
Oh, that wasn't difficult at all.
Really?
My mentor was a realtor. I mean, I guess it depends on what you think difficult is.
So the house you own, was that the second, the third, or was it the first one you saw?
20.
Oh.
Okay, maybe it was hard. Okay, I don't know. I looked at a lot of homes.
Okay. Did you know what you were looking for, or did you go on a
I was looking before I got approved for the loan. And I tell people, I said, start looking now. Oh, no, I didn't get approved for my loan. Start looking now. You want to know what the market is like. You want to know what the houses out there are costing.
Right.
You want to know what you're looking at. Don't start looking once you get approved. Once you have that dream in your head, it's a dream now. Fantasize about it.
So how long have you actually been now a landlord?
Since March 31st, 2016.
Okay. Yes. How was the search for tenants?
So, that I did an open house. Met a lot of interesting people. Some people didn't like the place. You can't let that hurt your feelings. Some people are like,
Really?
I'm like, well, then get your ass on.
I don't need you anyway.
Right, I don't need that attitude.
Right.
All right, so you can go. It wasn't a difficult process. I mean, I had a real estate company help me, which actually did a background check. Did a credit check. But nobody tells you what kind of attitude a person is going to have. And so I purchased a home with 2 tenants in it, so they were, and I kept them. And they're wonderful. I think as long as you're a good property manager, I think you definitely have satisfied tenants. Some people are not going to be happy no matter what you do. We already know those type of motherfuckers. Excuse my language.
What would you do differently?
I would definitely, I would keep better records. So I think that's something that I kind of misstepped on. They have something called the net operating expenses. It's basically what it takes to operate this home. How much gas is going to cost, how much heating oil is going to cost if you're using heating oil, how much water is going to cost, maintenance. I have an exterminator that comes once a month. Just the general maintenance for that, what it takes to keep that house up and running outside of the mortgage. So you have the mortgage and you still have all this other stuff that you have to pay for. And I think record keeping definitely would have been something that I would have improved on from the very beginning.
So before we close, I want our audience really, because this is what touched me when we first spoke about this, the not believing in yourself. Because I think that, we have these aspirations, we have these dreams, we have these thoughts, and sometimes, if not most time, we're our own worst enemy, or we block our own blessings because of thinking that we can't. So what did that feel like? How did that feel? How did you move past it?
On top of the things that were going on in my own head about how I felt, what I wanted, I told myself that I didn't want it. I didn't want a house. I didn't want this for myself. I didn't want that responsibility. And so other people would tell me, a landlord? you know, people think like landlords are like the worst thing ever. Right? In New York City, do you know how long it takes to get somebody evicted? It takes 3 to 6 months.
It's always a negative.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So everyone had these opinions about it, but not one of those people's were not any of those people were landlords. So who am I listening to? Am I listening to my friends and my mentors that are doing it and saying that it's worth it? I'm telling you it's worth it. I had one person that kept telling me, oh my God, that's so much work. That's so much work. I said, we come in this motherfucker every day, 9 to 5, and it's a lot of work.
Okay. Trust. Right.
And they don't pay me as much as this house does.
Okay.
I said, so I work on my house maybe, and one of my mentors made me realize, he would call me every day. He'd be like, yeah, so I'm going to stop working at 10:30 in the morning. I was like, stop working now? He's like, yep. I managed all my properties. I'm gonna stop working. I'm gonna go out. He's retired, so you know, he could do whatever he wants to do afterwards. And I'm like, stop! I want to stop working at 10:30 in the morning.
Okay.
I want to do that. I want to work for 3 hours a day. I probably work on my house maybe 3 hours a week. Once you have it managed, I only have one property. He has multiple. So,
right, but once you have it managed,
I did it for a few hours a week.
So did that give you the gut to know that I can now operate and run and take on another business?
Yeah, sort of. I thought I could.
Okay.
I've been having a lot more difficulty with the car business, but you know, like I said, just on top of people telling me that I couldn't do it, I just had to believe in myself. Nobody was stopping me but me. It was my voice in my own head, my own fear. Even like you know, my parents will be like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I don't think it's because they didn't believe in me. I think your parents still want to protect you. A lot of people are like, "Oh, these haters, nobody believes in me, nobody supports my business." I don't care if your mama, sister, brother, child, nobody support you. As long as you believe in yourself, it can be done.
Okay.
The only person that you need is you. Once you overcome your own fear, that's it. You going straight up.
Okay. So how did you feel when you went into the bank and signed that approval?
Oh gosh, it was the best feeling in the world. It had to be one of the most exciting feelings for me. Sitting at that table, which takes a few hours.
Okay.
But once the bank says, you know what, you can have all this money, like, it's all for me. This is all for me.
Right, to give to somebody else, but
Right. And, you know, the truth is, and the way I look at it and the way I try to convince other people to do it is, I've never spent a dime of my own on my mortgage. Okay. And I own this house.
Okay. Say that again.
I own this house.
All right.
And they pay for it.
Good. I like the way that sounds. Right.
Yeah, so
you just have to be eligible.
Yes,
right.
That's it. So it can be done, and that's what I want people to know. That, like, let's build this generational income and stop living in apartment buildings for generations and generations and generations. Like, grandma handing you down projects ain't gonna work, you know. So let's get our own. Let's build it. Let's get that investment property, have additional income, so we can have something to pass on down to our children. So yeah, that's exactly what I want to say.
Do you find that men are intimidated by your success?
I don't think I really find men are intimidated, or maybe I'm just not paying attention. Sometimes things go over my head. What I do find most difficult with dealing with men is that they don't take me as seriously as I would want them to. I don't know. I'm going to learn how to be a bitch or something. I don't know what's going on. Like, I think I'm a really nice person in general. I don't consider myself a pushover because when it comes down to business and I'm ready to work, you won't get the rap from me. So make sure that you do business
the softer side is the personal side, so that's why.
I think in general I'm small, I look younger, so people don't know how much experience exactly I have. Can I take advantage? And so I deal with a lot of men in general, the contractors, plumbers, the handymen that are dealing in the house. I'm not really around a lot of women, and so I have to actually make my presence known. Other men have suggested to me, oh, just take a guy with you and pretend that's your boyfriend.
Okay, so then how does that then, how do you manage or deal with that mentally or emotionally? How do you deal with the fact that most of your business is dealing with men and they might want to, you know, you can pay this way? Or does that even happen? I don't know.
In the nightlife, yes, it happens.
Okay. But in the day-to-day household,
No, in the day-to-day, I haven't had it happen.
Okay.
To me, I've heard comments.
Okay.
Oh, you single? You got this house and this and this. I need to date a woman like you, but nobody really comes off directly and asks me on a date. And so, but yeah, you know, I try to like, you know, just do it. I let them know I'm about business.
Okay.
Like, this is about business. I don't crack a smile.
Okay.
I try not to crack a smile.
Okay.
And I love to smile. I love to
Right.
joke. I love to
Right.
have fun.
Right.
So sometimes when it gets to a certain point, you just can't even crack a smile.
Have any of your female friends become intimidated, or have you lost friends, or maybe people that you thought were friends and end up not being friends because they became intimidated or became insecure, or they felt a kind of way because you made a step and maybe left them behind, if that makes any sense?
No, I think my friends are really, really supportive of what I do. I mean, they tell me all the time, like, I don't even realize it, like how I inspired them. And that makes me feel really good, because I'm like, oh girl, y'all know me, stop it, you know, we gonna go to the club tonight. I'm like, come on, inspiring who? The dance floor? Let's go. But you know, they are really, really, really supportive of me. I mean, I've lost friends, I've lost business partners along the way, but that's just a learning process. And I just believe that those people don't really belong in my life. And so I just keep my circle to who I trust and who I know. And if they cross me, then you gotta go too.
What do you think you're leaving behind for your daughter?
I think I am leaving behind how to make sure that you can have your own, that it can happen, that this wealth in this country doesn't only belong to one race, that we as brown, black people can have a part of the pie as well, and you can get it no matter what.
That was the title. Thank you. On that note, this is another episode of Natural Sessions. We will join you again next week. Thank you for tuning in.
Stay like you're there. Gave him all that you and now you stuck. You try to get your heart back. Don't know if I do fake it or watch you sometimes I saw that.
Welcome to Dining with Diplomats, the show that travels the globe without leaving town.
Garbage bag? What garbage bag?